Yes, and joining me in the neighbourhood as she does on a very regular basis, and what a beautiful morning to be hosting the President from Serpentine, Jarrahdale. But I say a very good morning to Councillor Michelle Rich. Good morning, Madam President.
Good morning, James.
Great to see you in again, Michelle.
Oh, fantastic to be back here.
And this is supposed to be rest time weekends, at least it is for a lot of people, in a lot of people's minds. But as we know, the life of someone in local government, and certainly in the leadership team such as yourself, you're busy 7 days a week. Pretty much.
Yes. Local government, there is no downtime. It's 24/7. We are where we need to be at any given time. Things don't stop in local government. It's not a Monday to Friday 9 to 5 job, that is for sure, and certainly we encourage everybody local to give local government a consideration from a nomination point of view. And if you think you've got something to contribute, then when the next round is up, guess what? Put your hand up and see what you can do to impact on your local community in the same way that you do, Michelle, as the President and Councillor within the Shire of Serpentine, Jarrahdale. But boy, oh boy, every time we have you in for a chat, I could have you for 2 or 3 hours with the extent of activity and whatever else. And especially this last month since I was here last time has just exploded. And when I was asked for what subject matter to discuss for today, I kind of went, we've got about this, we've got to add this, and this, and this, and it's like, we might be here for a while.
101 things, but it's great to see, first and foremost, that from a locale point of view, as we have said on a number of occasions previously, we're literally in competition with every other local government throughout the state for funds, for attention, and for the squeaky wheel to be oiled and residents to be kept happy with funding, because it doesn't matter what's on the drawing board, what's on the wish list, it all takes money. And
it does.
If there's a result of representation to state and federal government, that makes it all happen.
It does. It's look, to gain funding, it is a very competitive area, and the funding buckets do seem to get smaller.
Yep.
And with that, local governments need to make sure that they are 100% on top of what they're doing. So if we're advocating for funding for some kind of project within the community, we need to make sure we've got all our ducks in a row. We need to make sure that we've got all of our community consultation done, that the business plans are there, and all that background work. So when we go in and say, we would like, they can go, okay, where's your info? And we lay it all out, and we can talk to it, we can show them, and they can go, okay, it's a good project. And
you were put to the test most recently, of course, with the Community Cabinet, led by our Premier, Mark McGowan. It wasn't an unexpected visit, a very well coordinated one, but a bit of a coup in lots of ways for the Shire to host it.
We were extremely excited and feel very, very privileged to have actually hosted the Community Cabinet meeting in our council chambers in SJ. It was a very, very exciting time for us. We did get to present as well as the City of Armidale got to make a presentation to the Cabinet, which was really good. And we put forward a lot of things that our community need. And at this point in time, the way our community's growing and where we're at, we've got a lot of, I suppose, what people would call needs, but our community, they're not just wants, they are actually needs because of the growth we're experiencing, or because of safety issues, or a whole range of things. So everything that we put forward and presented to the state cabinet was it was a need. It wasn't just a want for the sake of having something.
Sure. I know we'll perhaps talk about that in more detail, but yes, great to have the Premier and his Community Cabinet in attendance, and broke off into little sort of, not so much groups as such, but to maximise opportunity and time. I understand the sort of formalities were group, you headed up the deputation that focused very much, I think, on the priority of roads and the impact there. Am I right there?
Look, the Community Cabinet meeting was held in the morning at the Shire. So as a Shire, myself and the CEO presented our council-endorsed document that we have.
Yes, of course.
Our 2021 WA state election priorities and requests. So that goes through and it outlines all of the challenges that we are facing and the reasons behind what we've asked for through the commitments for the 2021 state election. So we actually got to present on that and put our case forward. The Cabinet ministers asked questions and gave feedback in quite a few areas. Then we had obviously the Cabinet, the state government with Mark McGowan and his ministers held a community lunch in Byford at Lemurs, where they had a large number of community members invited. And that was really good. It was very well attended. And then that afternoon we actually had pre-arranged meetings with a couple of ministers to actually drill down into a couple of very important
one-on-one workshops.
Basically. So drill down into a couple of items more closely to see what was actually needed and the reasoning. And
to that extent, the election priorities, that is that the Shire obviously prioritise, really putting state government on notice in terms of the ultimate is certainly to improve with the focus on roads and whatever, because there's clearly been over a number of years, and I think the stats are a little bit scary that where is it? I have lost it, but between 2014 and 2019 there's been no less than 19 road fatalities. Something like 1,200 crashes and 150, 120 hospitalisations as a result of motor vehicle accidents
and
in the Shire boundary.
That is exactly one of the things that we made sure we highlighted very well for basically anybody that would listen. The stat between I think it's 2015 2019 there is 19 fatalities on our roads in our Shire. When you take into consideration the fatalities that we've had in 2020, that figure goes up to something like 24 or 25. It's unacceptable. It is simply unacceptable in this day and age. And it is not the roads as such causing a lot of these fatalities. There is driver error. There is a mix of things that happen. But one thing that we do know, and we have made it very clear to other people that need to know, is that our roads are not built for the volumes of traffic they are now seeing. They're not built for the speeds of those volumes of traffic that they're now seeing, and they're not built to carry the volumes of the types of vehicles that they are having. Like some of our roads, especially our rural roads, they were built 60 or 70 years ago. They were built to carry small farm trucks, tractors, passenger vehicles of the day. When you have a look at the size and volume of the heavy trucks that we're seeing now, the roads just don't cope with them. So in the last 2.5 years that we've had our Director of Infrastructure with us, he and his team have done a huge amount of work. Road counts, looking at the way our roads are put together, how they're built, what they should be. And they have put together a document which is our hypergrowth implementation plan for our roads. And they have picked roads that are carrying significant volumes of traffic that actually now work as like connector roads to get our community from one place to another. So they're not just our local access roads. These are roads that the community have started to use and are using as connector roads. To upgrade those roads to a minimum main road standard now, we're looking at roughly $79 million. That's not building a Taj Mahal of a road. That is just to bring them up to a minimum standard of where they sit in today's values, I suppose. So that is one of our big asks, and we have sat down with, after the Cabinet meeting, we had a one-on-one meeting with Michelle Roberts, the Minister for Road Safety. The following, or just a week ago now, we met with Minister Saviotti, She was to meet with us and couldn't the day of the community cabinet, so she actually arranged another meeting for us on the Friday of that week, and we went in and met with her and went through a whole heap of our road information. And so the state government are well aware. We've also spoken to Andrew Hastie, our federal member for Canning, especially after the two recent fatalities at the same intersection. And yesterday we had... No, it wasn't yesterday, it was Thursday. My days are merging into one.
You're a busy lady.
On Thursday of this week just gone, we had Senator Glenn Stirl out, who is the Assistant Shadow Minister for Road Safety at the federal level. And we were very lucky to have Senator Stirl for 3 hours and toured the Shire and showed him the condition of our roads and why we are pushing so hard for funding, because the work we need to do in that space, there is actually no funding buckets for it. So you can apply for black spot funding and you have to meet a certain criteria, and there is road group funding through the state government, but it's a set criteria. So what we are needing to upgrade our roads to that minimum standard, there is actually no bucket of funding that equates to that. So we are having those very, very tough and determined discussions with state and federal members.
As you need to be able to secure that funding. It's certainly not a project that's going to be completed overnight. It's going to take some scheduling. It's going to take a few years, unfortunately, to make all that a reality.
It is, and what we have asked for through our priority requests is, we know it's roughly $79 million. We've asked for that over a 10-year period so that we can schedule the work and we can move through and get it done. So, and we see that as fairly reasonable. And it means that over a 10-year period, we can actually cope with that workload and make sure we get it done.
Absolutely. And just coming back to the state election priorities from within the Shire's perspective, I mean, there's a lot to be consumed there, but how much information is available on that? Can residents get copies, or can they go to the website and have a look? Can they get a squiz?
It is all on the website. They can go into the Shire office if they want to go in and get a hard copy. So information is available. It is going out in, I suppose, information grabs on our Shire Facebook page as well. So the information is readily available for the community.
So if you are keen to have a look and update yourself, then certainly do so by having a look at the SJ Shire's website and look for because I'm interested that it clearly comes under the advocacy for the Shire and progressing these priorities, and no better time. We know what's happened with Armidale Road, the opportunities that present themselves at election time.
That's exactly right.
So no reason for us not to hope for some success in terms of the funding, the priority there. Funding, though, good news in terms of also the Kiernan Park Recreation Precinct in Mundijong. More money.
Yes.
Big dollars.
Yes. We were extremely excited when that news came through that we had secured $20 million worth of stimulus funding from the state government to kickstart stage 1 of the Kernan Street sporting precinct.
Yes.
It's been a long, hard road for the people that have been working on that project. There's been a lot of community input over a large number of years. Going back to probably 2008, 2009, and even earlier, there was talk and starting the murmurs of something needed to be done. And then a group was formed. They were incorporated. Our local sporting clubs that were active in the Shire at that time funded the first feasibility study into needing a facility of that type in the Shire. So, that's our senior football club. I mean, Mundijong Central's the junior football club, Mundijong Central's junior football club, our 2 cricket clubs, both senior and junior, our netball association, our Little Laths association, Bendigo Bank put some money in the pot. So this is very much a grassroots project that it's come from the ground up, from what the people could see was needed and wasn't being catered for with the extreme hypergrowth that was happening in the Byford area at that time. Lots of meetings, lots of information, a second feasibility study that was funded by the Shire and the Department of Sport and Rec. Still more meetings and talking to people and trying to advocate for it, and not really getting anywhere. 2017 rolled around and we actually got an election commitment from Mark McGowan that if his party won government, that they would give us the land in Keenan Street for us to actually have somewhere to build a sporting precinct. And, as everyone knows, they did win government, and I think it was June 2018 they officially handed over Keenan Street to the Shire. So we had the land. Busily working, planning, financial planning that to see where we were, how we get it done. And then with what's happened with the COVID pandemic and then the stimuluses from that, we were extremely lucky and fortunate that it was one of the projects that the state government picked out and said, this is sitting there, it's ready to go. $20 million, thank you very much.
And there are so many in the community that will be impacted and clearly benefit by it, but as I know those involved with the BMX facilities will be very, very thrilled with that outcome as well.
It's active open space in sporting fields and that kind of thing, we are extremely low on. We simply don't have enough. We don't have a soccer club active in our area because we simply don't have anywhere for them to play. We've recently had a rugby club start, and they have been extremely good in actually working with the Shire and the other clubs so that they do have a space, that they've got somewhere they can fit and they can train and that kind of thing. So, and we're finding at the moment, because we are lacking the space we need, Councillor Bill Denham is doing a fantastic job. He's involved in a lot of the sporting clubs just to help. His kids, he's got 5 kids, they've all come through a number of the different sporting clubs in the area, and he's always been a very community-minded, active person in that space.
Sure.
And, Bill's likeable, he's one of those happy-go-lucky, likeable people, and he talks to everybody, and he has done a fantastic job with the clubs that are trying to co-share very limited space. And getting them talking to one another and introducing them and saying, hey, you guys need to work together and, we could do this and do that and, how's this work and that. And they are doing a great job. They are working together. They are helping each other out. They're making sure that there's room for everybody. And that's what community's about.
Absolutely, and it's a living proof of the benefits that come from the hard work. Again, timing is everything, and great to be in the right place at the right time.
That's it. It's fantastic to see.
Great news. Stay with us as the President for Serpentine Jarrahdale will. Michelle's with us for a little longer, so stay with us.
For local information and local news, join James Ray here in your neighbourhood every Saturday morning till 12 noon. My Kind of Radio on 107.3, the voice of your community.
Here on 107.3, it has just gone 10:30. My guest in the studio, the President for Serpentine Jarrahdale, Michelle Rich, a regular contributor to the program. And last time you were in, Michelle, we were chatting about, and I think we've done over a couple of chats now, Austral Bricks, the expansion work that they are proposing. How did we go? That was put to council for consideration. What was the outcome of the consideration?
It went to council's August OCM, where the officer's recommendation to refuse was upheld unanimously by council.
So it's a matter of correspondence now in terms of looking, because again, there was looking for the common ground in terms of other options, a relocation. I mean, let's get real.
It has since the Shire's OCM gone to the JDAP meeting.
Being the acronym.
Development.
I've got you.
You put me on the spot now.
The
Development Assessment Panel, which is a state government process.
Yeah.
So it went to the JDAP meeting last Tuesday, where it has been deferred for 90 days.
Watch this space. We'll talk more about that as things progress. Inevitably, they will. To that extent, on the brighter side of life, we rely so much on them for so many reasons, but the women in our community, so important to us, and without good health, we're all in a bit of a quandary. But Women's Health Week begins on Monday, and the Shire's got the big beat, got the drum out there. You're making a bit of noise about that.
We have. We did the same thing for Men's Health Week there a couple of months ago. We're shining the light on 5 women from various walks of life across our Shire, and they're going to tell a bit of their story. And I think it comes back to, it doesn't matter who you are in our community, you are needed.
Yeah.
There is people that depend on you, need you there, and whether it's male, female, young, old, health is extremely important to all of us.
Absolutely.
And it's something that I think as we get busy and we're looking after other things and that, people seem to ignore a little bit. And we shouldn't. We should make sure that our health, but both physical and mental health, is well looked after.
Sure.
And I think, as a local government, we recently adopted our health and wellbeing strategy moving forward for the next 4 years. And we want to make sure that our community know that they need to look after themselves and where to go to be able to do that. And, there's all different things that people can do. Yes, everybody's not the same.
Absolutely. That's reflected in, I think, in the candidates as well, the women, the 5 women you put forward to help support and increase the awareness of women's health. Again, a terrific diversity, because SJ in itself is so unique and different.
Yeah,
to so many of our more metropolitan.
We are, and it is. It's just one of those fundamental things that is extremely important to all of us, is our health, because without our health we don't function well, which means if we're not functioning well, the people that closely surround us don't function as well as they can, and it ripples out. And I think people would be quite shocked if they knew the extent of how far those ripples can actually travel.
Absolutely.
So, any opportunity like this, we will make sure that we shine the spotlight and beat that drum and make sure that we're a little bit loud and sometimes probably a bit obnoxious in that area, but we want that message out there loud and strong so that people actually take notice of it, and if they need to step back and make sure they look after themselves, that they do that so that they can continue into the future doing what they do.
So watch the Facebook as far as communication is concerned.
Our Facebook page, I think every day there'll be a new woman showcased and her story. So
watch this space.
Interesting to watch over the week.
Make some interesting reading, and again, the activities that they're involved with and where they are in life reflects the diversity and the significance that women play,
and
we
I
all
think
know.
The other thing we need to remember in this coming week is on Thursday, the 10th, we've got Are You OK Day.
That's right.
So the Landcare SJ are once again hosting their Are You OK planting up in Jarrahdale.
Yes.
So it's always an extremely popular morning. They do great morning tea. So get up there, plant a few plants and earn your morning tea. Absolutely.
Get those hands dirty. Wear your gloves if you want to. But yes, all part of you getting that balance, both mental and physical health. And a great way to do that in terms is also the uniqueness of Jarrahdale, specifically in terms of the Shire. But you've got a public forum happening.
Yes.
That's a very, I think, an important subject.
We have the first of a couple of public forums that are coming up. If we go back to last year through the Peel region, I sit on a group called Peel Alliance, which is a group of leaders from the Peel region. And some of the work we did last year was a Peel trail strategy. So very high level, and that then feeds down into your local government areas. Through that high level strategy, Jarrahdale was actually identified as a trails town, which is exciting for Jarrahdale and exciting for our wider community, and then the wider community in the Perth metro area and WA around that.
Sure.
But what we will see, I suppose, changes in Jarrahdale as we build into a trails town, because there's criteria you need to meet to get to that. So we will be working quite closely with our Jarrahdale community to see what they would like to see, how they'd like to see things done, what can be done, how we can do it. So all of that kind of stuff will be fleshed out through these meetings, so that we can gauge an idea of exactly where we're going and how to do things.
We see the end result. We know where we want to get to.
Yeah.
How we're going to get there.
How we're going to get there, because even though Jarrahdale has been identified as a trails town, which means that we will have people coming in to utilise and use those towns, trails, and be able to have a look at the unique area that we do have. Jarrahdale is also a community of people that live there permanently, which is their home. So it's a matter of balancing those two.
And to that extent, the first of those, or this first upcoming workshop, when's that going to be held?
That's on Wednesday the 16th of September. It's 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. It is essential that people book,
Yes.
that they register, purely because we are still dealing with the social distancing, the physical distancing for COVID.
Sure.
So, we obviously have a hall to be able to hold these events in, but we can only fit a certain amount of people in.
Absolutely.
Due to the COVID physical distancing.
We are so lucky. We have to keep reminding ourselves, literally, of this very point, because as we read and see on the national media, life isn't so good on the East Coast.
It's not, and I think because we are doing so well here at the moment, touch wood, we do need to keep reminding ourselves, to continue to be safe and wash our hands, the hygiene, that physical distancing, so that we can do everything we possibly can to make sure that our communities are well.
Absolutely.
And through that, it means that as a Shire, where once upon a time we might have held one community forum like this, because of the numbers, we will hold a couple, so that everybody gets a chance to come along and have their say.
Sure.
And once upon a time we never had to worry about people registering, they just turned up. But now, because of the numbers, we need people to register, so we can go, okay, well, that's a cut-off. We now need to hold another one.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah.
And to that extent, so the shout out is for community members to attend, to help contribute as to the vision of Jarrahdale becoming Perth's most popular trails town for visitors who are seeking equestrian, bushwalking and heritage trail experiences. That's a wide variety of opportunity, and something that would certainly emphasise the significance of Jarrahdale, its immediate environs, and we want you to get along. Wednesday the 16th of September, 5:30 start. Please be punctual, get there a couple of minutes early. We like things to start on time.
We do.
And if you miss the attendance opportunities to if you've got an online survey or anything else that people may have as an option down the track?
I'm not 100% sure on that, but I do know that there will be other forums.
Okay.
So this is just the first of a few.
Yep.
So
Good.
You just basically watch this Space Shire website, Shire Facebook page. Information will be published.
And that's where you need to go to to reserve your seat. Make contact with the Shire, give them a call during business hours, Monday to Friday, would be probably the quickest way, or check it out online, get more details there. Other good news coming to town is, of course, the preference, the preferred location for we'll get there eventually, the Byford train station.
Yes,
We're going to keep talking about this forever. Doesn't matter. It'll be a reality. The next time we will eventually be talking to you on the platform one day.
We will.
We'll get there.
Byford is getting a train station. We are getting a passenger rail train station.
Yes.
Look, it is exciting, and it is fantastic to see that the Minister has made the announcement of the location, which is exactly where the Shire has advocated for the train station to be, in the town centre.
Yeah.
You know, there's a few other areas that already have passenger rail and their train stations aren't in their town centre, and they said fight for what you can get. Make sure you fight as hard as you can to get a town centre train station, because it will make or break your town centre.
Yep, absolutely.
So, you know, we have advocated extremely strongly in that space, and, you know, that has paid off. So our officers, CEO and officers are working extremely closely with the Metronet team on now what that will look like, what other works need to be done as part of the Metronet build for the train station. We have had an announcement that the state government will start later this year to put a road over rail bridge at Thomas Road to basically take out that level crossing.
Yeah, yep.
So, and I know there is pockets of our community that aren't happy. The wider community are wrapped with that concept. There is people that aren't happy, and it's understandable why they're not happy. But there is further work being done between the Shire officers and Main Roads to the finer detail of that bridge build.
Yeah.
So, you know, the initial concept has been released, it's been put out there, but there is still further works and finer detail work being done.
Sharpen the pencil, yet to happen, but of course the importance from the planning with the Byford Metronet facility is to see the transit. I like the terminology, transit orientated development for the Byford town development.
Byford's getting a Todd.
It's all about, yes, we're getting a Todd.
We're getting a Todd.
Todd's coming to town.
Yeah, and look, do you know, this is extremely exciting, and I know there is some naysayers out there that say, oh, we're going to be the end of the line, all the criminals are now going to come to Byford and rob everybody. And do you know what? We're not looking at this as an end of line. This is the beginning. This is the beginning of something absolutely fantastic.
Sure.
Our train station is what we make it. If we want to make it an end of the line and have all those connotations that brings with it, that's what we'll get. But if we want to make it something that is vibrant and livable, and something that our community actually embrace and make part of our everyday life, that is what it'll be. So we're not looking at it as an end of the line. We are looking at it as the beginning. It's the beginning of something extremely exciting.
Absolutely. It's the gateway to a very, very bright future.
It is.
In so many ways for Byford and for the greater SJ Shire, no doubt about that. Talking about bright futures, the Briggs Park lighting was suitably acknowledged as far as the use of technology is concerned. Great news.
It is.
Tell us a bit about it.
Look, the lower Briggs Park Oval upgrade is a project that's been like 25 plus years in the making. The earliest that we could find it referenced, or the earliest that I've seen it referenced in any Shire documentation, was 1995. I've got photos of my boys playing soccer and football on that oval in 3 or 4 inches of water in the winter. Beautiful photos.
Yes.
But given the lack of proper sporting facilities, it had to be upgraded. So part of that upgrade was to actually put lights on it. And we were fortunate enough that when we gained the funding, and the Shire put a certain amount of funding in as well, we lifted the lower oval, we've fixed the drainage, we've put lights on the lower oval so that it is an oval that can be utilised both in the daytime and night time. And we were also able to upgrade and replace the lighting system on the upper oval at the same time.
Yeah.
If you get the chance, go down there and have a look at the lights when they are on at night. It is spectacular. I was lucky enough to be down there last night for the Oz Kickers, because they had their sausage chisel for Father's Day.
Yes.
And the top oval was just full of all these little ones playing football, and the dads and mums out there playing with the kids and having a go. And the dads had a kick off to see who could kick the furthest, and just fantastic evening under lights with all these families from the Serpentine Jarrahdale area. If we hadn't had those lights and had the upgrade in that space, they wouldn't have been able to do that.
Of course, no.
The lights are very high tech. They are LEDs. We have the option we can actually dim them. So when our sporting clubs are using the oval, they only have to use the amount of power they need.
Yeah.
They don't have to turn them all on and have them lighting up like it's daytime. They only have to use what they need. So, it's a cost saving to our clubs. And they're just fantastic.
So it was most appropriate and inevitable that the floodlighting system won the Best Use of Technology Award at the Parks and Leisure 2020 WA Awards of Excellence.
It has, and there was a couple of surrounding local government mayors that were there who actually came up to me after the awards had all been announced and said, we want to pinch your information because we need to do that to our areas.
Yeah.
So, that was exciting.
That's and it's good to see your peers come to you and you'll be able to, get the brag bag suitably to hand, because it's all happening. It just takes time.
It does,
time.
And unfortunately, these things take money, and because it takes money, things have to be prioritised, and there is always items that the public think are a higher priority than others, depending on who they are in the community. But as a local government, we have to find that balance.
Sure.
And I've always looked at local government in the sense that you've got very basically three pillars. So you've got your economic area, you've got your environmental area, and you've got your social area. You can't go and spend all your money in one and not look after the other two. You've actually got to be able to balance and bring all three up at the same time, because they are all equally important.
That's right.
And they are all equally interconnected right through our community. So if you lose one, you find you end up with huge issues in that area. We don't want that. We want to be able to bring them up at an even level, so that we actually are trying our best to actually support everybody.
Absolutely. It's a juggling act, literally, to keep all the balls in the air. Don't drop any of them, because if you do, as you say, there'll be consequences.
That's it.
A bit of a mess to clean up along the way. And very quickly, as far as information is concerned, residents that want to get some idea of how your rates build our community, check it out on the council's website. SJ Shire have done a great job of helping you understand your rate notices, more importantly, where your money will be working for the next 12 months and beyond. But what the priority items are in this year's budget.
Yeah.
A lot to talk about. We perhaps might have a look at that in some specific area, but more importantly, generally, that information is freely available on the website, and I really encourage everyone to go and have a good hard look at it. Yeah,
it is freely available. It was sent out with all the rate notices that people received in the mail. And I think more importantly, Council has recently adopted an updated corporate business plan, which covers the next 4 years going forward. So you can actually, and it is actually quite well laid out and very easy to read. So if people are interested and they want to have a look, they can actually jump on the Shire website, pull that document up and actually have a read through it, and they will see set out what the next 4 years is going to look like, what we actually have prioritised. And given COVID and a few other bits and pieces, we've had to reprioritise, and I think we've got a really good balance in what we've actually put forward for the next 4 years.
Clearly.
It's obviously all comes through from community consultation, and I think next year we go out for a major review of our long-term strategic plan.
Yeah.
And again, through that process, huge amounts of community consultation. There will be a huge amount of information out there for the community to come along to workshops and all that kind of thing and actually have their input.
It's all about partnerships, whether it be within the community or outside the community, as far as securing state and federal funding, about as we have spoken earlier. But with the fastest growing local government in WA, there is lots to see and do, lots of challenges, from population growth to local training and employment, and as we have alluded to, creating and delivering a very vibrant transport-orientated development centre within the Byford and Munajong, and of course having the financial capacity to deliver all of it.
That's exactly it.
So much to see and do. As per usual, time has flown by, but mums and dads will know that school holidays are coming up soon, and the Shire's going to do its bit to help keep the young ones occupied.
We do. There is a full program that will be available. Obviously, we have our Shire school holiday e-newsletter that comes out to tell everybody about what's happening during the school holidays. If people aren't subscribed to it, jump on the Shire's website. So we have a number of e-newsletters that you can actually subscribe to for free.
Yep.
And they are automatically sent to your inbox when the new ones come out.
Yeah.
So there's one for our library, there's our SJ Matters one, there's one for our school holidays. I think there's another one somewhere that I can't think of off the top of my head at the moment.
It's online, yeah.
But yeah, jump on the Shire's website and you will find them quite easily. And yeah, heaps of information there available.
So for the parents and carers within the Shire, it's nice to know in advance just exactly what's coming up, so you can get all those ducks lined up, because we bounce from one thing to another.
And the other thing is, some of the things that the Shire does put on are extremely popular.
Yes.
And they get booked out really quickly. So
first in, first served.
Yes, jump on and make sure you get your spot.
Help yourself by subscribing to the Shire of Serpentine Jarrahdale's e-newsletters that Michelle's just explained. There's a number of them, so whatever your particular area of interest is, enrol. You'll be so glad you did. Or subscribe. You're not enrolling, you're subscribing to them. What am I saying? Michelle, great to have you in as usual.
Look, thank you, Jane. Look, it is such an exciting time. There is so much to talk about. You know, we probably need another couple of hours, but
the important thing is that, again, you're clearly demonstrating with what you've quickly summarised in the time you've been with us this morning. There is just so much happening and being recognised and planned into the future, and it's one day at a time.
Yes, it is. One foot in front of the other.
Absolutely, but into the future, clearly residents can see that there is a very bright future mapped out. It's a matter of, as is the case with the Jarrahdale Trails town, you've got an opportunity as a resident to contribute, to help see the local community grow and flourish with your participation and involvement. So
yeah, that's it. Like, we need the input from our community. It's important that the community has that voice, and the Shire does provide a lot of opportunity for community members to have that voice. So when those opportunities are put forward, grab them with both hands.
And we appreciate you and your capacity as Shire President, using the voice of your community here on 107.3 to share with us and update us on life in the beautiful surroundings that is Serpentine Jarrahdale.
I am more than happy to come in whenever you offer the opportunity, because I love being able to share what's happening and what we're doing and where we're heading.
We look forward to catching up with you in a few weeks' time, Michelle.
Thank you very much, James.
Stay safe. Here on 107.3, it is...